Once upon a time, a man had an ass that for many years had carried sacks to the mill without tiring. At last, however, its strength was worn out. It was no longer any use for work. Accordingly, its master began to ponder how best to cut down its keep. But the ass, seeing that there was mischief in the air, ran away and started on the road to Bremen, and there he thought he could become a town musician. When he'd been travelling a short time, he fell in with a hound who was lying, panting, on the side of the road as though he'd run himself off his legs. "Why are you panting so, Growler?" said the ass. "Ugh," said the hound, "because I'm old, and every day I get weaker and I can't keep up with the pack anymore. It's not my fault that I'm surprised by my wind after dinner. Because of all this, my master wanted to kill me, so I ran away. But now, how am I going to earn a crust?" "You know what," said the ass, "I'm going to Bremen, and shall there become a town musician. Come with me and take your part in the band. I shall play the lute, and you shall beat the kettle drum." The hound agreed, and they went on. A short time after, they came upon a cat, sitting in the road with a face like a screwed-up sick note. "Well, what's been crossing you, Whiskers?" asked the ass and the hound. "Who could be cheerful when he's out at the elbows?" said the cat. "I'm getting on in years, my teeth are blunt, and I prefer to sit by the stove and purr instead of hunting mice, if you don't mind. But apparently my mistress does mind, and just because of this, she wanted to drown me, and I had to make myself scarce. But now, here I am, and I don't know which way to turn." "Come with us to Bremen," said the ass. "You've got great skills when it comes to serenading, so you could become one of us, a famous town musician." The cat could see the sense of the scheme, so she consented and joined them. Next, the fugitives passed by a yard where a barn door fowl was sitting on the door, crowing with all its might. "Your crow is so loud that it goes right through me and tickles my inner parts that should really be still," said the ass. "What on earth is the matter?" "I made a big mistake. I didn't prophesy fine weather for Lady Day, when our lady does a washing and wants to dry it, fool that I am. But notwithstanding this, because Sunday visitors are coming tomorrow, the mistress got no pity, and she's ordered the cook to make me into soup. Soup! My neck will be wrung tonight, so I'm crowing with all my might while I've still got the chance." "Come along, Redcomb," said the ass. "You'd be much better if you came with us. We're going to Bremen. We're going to be famous, and you'll find a much better fate there. You've got a good voice, and when we make music together, there'll be quality in it." The cock didn't need much persuading under the circumstances, and they all four went off together. They couldn't, however, reach the town in one day, and by evening they arrived at a wood where it was decided to spend the night. The ass and the hound lay down under a big tree. The cat and the cock settled themselves in the branches, the cock flying right up to the top, which was the safest place for him. Before going to sleep, he looked round once more in every direction. Suddenly, it seemed to him that he saw a light burning in the distance. He called out to his comrades that there must be a house not far off, for he saw a light. "Very well," said the ass. "Let's get up and make our way to it, for this is poor lodging and the midges are having a field day with me." The hound thought some bones or meat would suit him too, so they set out in the direction of the light, and soon saw it shining more clearly and getting bigger and bigger till they reached a brightly lit robber's den. The ass, being the tallest, approached the window and gracefully peeped inside. "What do you see, old jackass?" asked the cock. "What do I see?" answered the ass. "Why, a table spread with delicious food and drink, and robbers seated round it, enjoying themselves." "That would just suit us," said the cock. "Yeah, if we could only get in there," answered the ass. So then the animals took counsel as to how to set about driving the robbers out. And at last they hit upon a plan. The ass was to take up his position with his 4 feet on the windowsill, the hound was to jump onto his back, the cat then to climb up onto the hound, and last of all, the cock flew up and perched on the cat's head. And when they were thus arranged, at a given signal, they all began to perform their music. The ass brayed, the hound barked, the cat mewed, the cock crowed. Then they dashed through the window, shivering the panes and making a terrible racket. The robbers jumped up at the terrible noise, thinking that nothing less than a demon was coming in upon them, and fled into the wood in the greatest alarm. Then the 4 animals sat down at the table and helped themselves according to what pleased them each best, eating as though they had been starving for weeks. When they'd finished, they turned out the light and looked for sleeping places, each one to suit his nature and individual taste for comfort. The ass lay down on the ripe manure heap, the hound behind the door, the cat on the hearth near the warm ashes, and the cock flew way up into the rafters. As they were tired from the long journey, they soon went to sleep tightly. When midnight was past, and the robbers saw from a distance that the light was no longer burning, and that all seemed quiet, the chief said, "We ought not to have been scared by a false alarm, you know." So he ordered one of the robbers to go and examine the house. Finding all quiet, the messenger went into the kitchen to kindle a light, and mistaking the cat's glowing, fiery eyes for live coals, he held a match close to them to light up. But the cat was having none of that. It jumped up at his face, spat, hissed, scratched. This frightened the bejesus out of the robber, and he turned on his heel and made to run away. He tried to get out by the back door, but the hound, who was lying there, jumped up and bit his leg. Then, as he ran across the manure heap in front of the house, the ass gave him a good sound kick with his hind legs. Meanwhile, the cock, who had awoken at the uproar, quite fresh and full of mischief, cried out from his perch, "Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo!" Thereupon, the robber ran back as fast as he could to his chief, and he said, don't know where to begin. There's a gruesome witch in the house who breathed on me and scratched at me with her long fingers. Behind the door, there stands a huge man with a knife who stabbed me in the leg. Then, out in the yard lies a black monster who hit me with a club. And finally, up on the roof, the judge is seated, the devil himself. I heard him calling out, "Bring the rogue here for trial!" So I legged it away as fast as I could. From that day to this, the robbers didn't venture again to the house, which pleased the 4 Bremen musicians so much that they never wished to leave it again. They got themselves very comfortable and called the place home.